Y'all are my favorite. It's been a rough couple of days, couple of weeks. It's been a rough life. Your girls had a rough year, but here's the thing. Yesterday I stayed up almost all night reading through comments under a meme that I posted criticizing the church, because sometimes that's what I do, because, sorry guys, I got to get the frizz situation sorted here. I have great news, and it's this. I've spoken with the reader, and I do believe she's going to allow me to share her information, but we're not going to do that quite yet. And I now fully understand her situation, and because of the money that y'all have raised, she is no longer going to be homeless. She is not going to be evicted. She has faced this before and had a car that she was able to stay in, but this time she is facing it and didn't have a car. And so it was like it was a next level of just terror for her. And she reached out to churches, and because she was gay, the conversation ended very quickly. And so, y'all, this is what it looks like to live the gospel. And I don't mean this that everybody donated was a Christian, because I know my audience. So many of y'all are not believers at all. But y'all are generous and good, and you made a big difference. So it's not a replay, Ashley. I'm live. Hey, boo. How are you doing? So for those of you who missed it, yesterday I posted a meme about the fact that the commercial on the Super Bowl that was supposed to be promoting the gospel or spreading the gospel cost as much as it did, and how it hurt to see that, because you're not silly, girl. You're just used to seeing replays. I feel you. And how that hurt, because knowing that there are ways to reach people, but we're supposed to be good stewards, and there's just no freaking way that I would consider that good stewardship. And I called out the fact that the amount of money could have opened a homeless shelter in every single state and run it for 1 year. And because people were pushing back on me that it was good enough. It was good enough. They're like, if one soul is saved, it's worth millions and millions of dollars. And I'm like, I don't think y'all understand the Great Commission. So starting right now, if somebody doesn't mind time-stamping the video, one, I'll tell you that we are still in the other video collecting money, but we have met the first month's need, and my intention is to personally make sure that the second month is taken care of. I've got a couple contracts coming, and so if we don't make that, I'll make that. But I've committed to her that she has 2 months to get back on her feet and get well, and she is incredibly grateful, and she's here with us, but I'm not going to ask her to say anything. But love you, girl. I'm glad that everything's going to be okay, and I hope you feel surrounded by the warmth and amazingness of this community that was just jumping to lift you up and get you out of that situation. Thank you for the timestamp, Judy. I want to share a story that was in my last video, but it was buried in the last 2 minutes of it, because I want to really drive home the fact that I do, as a Christian, very much care about the Great Commission of bringing the gospel, the love of Jesus, to everybody. It just looks different than it used to. So here's the story. It's the story of the man in the chicken house and the fact that I threw a tract at him. And it changed everything for me, and last night just highlighted the importance of calling this out every single time I see it. So Christians especially, please listen. I was a missionary. I was a Southern Baptist missionary through the International Missions Board, whose goal is that all people will hear the gospel. That's the goal. They have a little ticker on their website, and I was a part of this, and at the time, gosh, it felt so good. It was like a board game. It was just gross. It's just gross, but I mean, the missionaries were amazing. I still love the people that were doing the work there. It's just the idea of what I was doing. Let me explain. They have a little ticker on their website that says how many people have been saved and how many people have heard the gospel, and they update it every single day, and they drive money towards that purpose of just getting the gospel to them, just the information about Jesus, okay? And while I was in Thailand, the most meaningful thing that I did was live with a Thai family and learn from them. I wouldn't have known that at the time, because what I thought I was there to do was to convert everybody to what I believed was the right way to heaven. And I was convinced that the pressure of all of their souls was on me. You know, they were going to burn in hell. And obviously I cared about that. And so I believed that. And with all of my heart, I felt like I just needed to say Jesus to as many people as I could, right? Spread the gospel. So during the week, I taught in an elementary school in Nakan, Rashasima as an English teacher, and I developed relationships with the students, and I loved them, and I became close with them. And on the weekends, though, our goal was to go out into the more rural areas and spread the gospel there. And that looked like, because of the language barrier, is we would pass out tracts, T-R-A-C-T, if you were... Sorry, my internet went out. Their goal is that everybody hears the gospel. I'm going to tell you where this shifted for me. We were driving around in rural Karat, and we had been driving for probably 4 or 5 hours, and we needed to get back because the car was kind of crappy, and it was getting dark, and we were in a bunch of rice fields, kind of hard to find your way home, so we were in a hurry. And as we were driving by probably 300 acres of rice paddies, I think that's what it's called, a rice field. Anyways, I noticed a man crawling out of a chicken house. And if you know what a chicken house looks like, it's literally like a little bit of wood with chicken wire around it, elevated. And he had been in it, and it appeared as though he was living in it, which wasn't incredibly uncommon for people to live in shelters like that. Some of them would protect their animals from like anacondas. I think that's the animal that was out there, the snake, the really bad one. And so, it was disturbing, and it made me feel sick. And we didn't have time to stop and try and talk to this man because I wasn't fluent in Thai, and we needed to get back. So what did we do? We threw a tract at him out the window. We're like, hey, Nasawadi Ka, got a little message for you. We spoke in Thai. I don't even remember my Thai anymore. But, and then we just literally left it there for him to go pick up. And we drove away, and I felt sick to my stomach, and I thought, that didn't feel like spreading the gospel, but I know it was. That was one soul reached. Who knows what he's going to do with that information. But this story has sat in the back of my consciousness for a really long time, and as I've been deconstructing, it continues to find its way forward. And yesterday I realized, oh girl, the Lottie Moon offerings. I forgot all about the rice. Oh my gosh, you're not wrong. I forgot. Woo, talk about a throwback. That was a good one, Patsy. But yesterday, when I saw Christians jumping to the defense of spending $1 billion on a PR campaign for Jesus, I realized what it was. We all think that we're supposed to be spreading the gospel, meaning the good news. And y'all, we're supposed to be the freaking good news. We're supposed to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And Jesus would not have thrown a tract at anybody. He'd have immediately met their need. And people were telling me, oh, if $1 billion saves a soul, that's enough. I don't think so, because I don't think God requires that much money that could help that many people in order to save the children he created for condemnation that he is going to exact. That math is not mathing for me. What I think we were called to do is not spread the good news, but be it. And I don't think we have been I don't think we've been good news. Most of the Christians that I'm around aren't a good time at all. And I don't mean like a party. I mean like they make you feel bad about who you are. They make you feel unloved. They make you feel shamed. And if you don't think that that's true, then go take a little gander at my comment section from the last couple of days and tell me where you find the love of Christ in that. So what I've learned about that man in the chicken house is that I should have taken my tract and maybe lit it on fire to keep him warm. Maybe I should have taken my 25 baht, which could have bought me some fried rice and chicken, and given it to him so that he could live another couple of weeks. But I was so blinded by the mission that I was on that I didn't realize that the opportunity to be Jesus was right there in front of me. And this is what bothers me about the American church, and just evangelicalism in general, is that we think it's our responsibility to tell people about Jesus, but y'all, we're supposed to be Jesus, and we're not. That's not how he would have done things. And so today, I'm so grateful that y'all gave me and everybody in this community an opportunity to be Jesus to somebody. And not for the sake of converting or anything, just because that's what he would have done. I think that's what it means to be a Christ follower. And I don't think you have to be a quote unquote Christian to do it. Frankly, when that became my understanding of the gospel, it made sense to me why I see so much more of Jesus in my agnostic and atheist friends than some of the Christians that I know. Because they live more like the rabbi that I follow than the others do. And they're more generous and kind and loving and accepting. They're more Christ-like. And so thank you for helping me see and get to experience that. Because today I realized that I've been, for a long time in my faith, my understanding of the gospel was throwing tracts at people in chicken houses. And that's not who I'm going to be anymore. I don't think it's who I've been for a while, but now that I'm able to verbalize it, I can hold myself to that. And I hope that y'all also take this message to heart and remember what it actually means to be good news to people. And to our audience member who is here with us, we were good news. Somebody just rang my doorbell and I have not... Somebody's at my house. I didn't invite somebody to my house. I bet my dogs got out. I gotta go. I love you guys. I'm gonna drop in a link in the comments about if you want to help donate to the cause of the mama who we have saved from homelessness today. And y'all did that, and I love you for it. And I'm gonna go answer. Okay, I'm coming. Bye.